like part of the Year of the Snake, like promotion when I bought them. So they have like a snake like pattern on the arms. But yeah, red and gold. Red and gold's a good color scheme for yours truly. I like primary color bullshit. Primary color plus green, like, like a kindergarten classroom from the 90s. Yeah, that's a key part of my palette aesthetic, I feel like. But yes, Tony Boner came about um, as you may have heard me refer to Andy Scheibel as Tony Boner. If you've never spent a measurable amount of time in Andy's stream, Andy has a channel point redeem called He Appears. And when you redeem He Appears, like a skull, much like this one, on like a bad flame background pops up, and like spooky like woo wee wee woo, music comes up in the background, and you are forced to come face to face with the skeleton when he appears. And another streamer referred initially to that skeleton situation as Tony Boner. And we then associated directly with Andy, because, then Andy became Tony Boner, and Mark used the term Antonio Banderas as his full government name. So Antonio Banderas, aka Tony Boner, is sort of a creature of legend. And in the next Nixon Company book, there will be a sentient, like, dungeon skeleton named Tony Boner, which is going to be Andy's Mary Sue, or Gary Lou, as it were. Kels, hi, how are you doing? Good morning. How are you doing? Yes, the Antonio Banderas. Yes, exactly. So yes, Antonio Banderas, Tony Boner, the old Tony Boney. You look so cute this morning. Thank you. I'm struggling with my hair. I need a haircut desperately. I'm wearing one of my favorite t-shirt artists. The Me and the Homies Aren't Feeling This Endless Cycle of Death and Rebirth, with like the Richard Scarry imagery. I love Richard Scarry so much. But yes, I'm like a very 90s classroom aesthetic, I feel like. That's whatever that niche aesthetic is called. It's not the like utopic, like academia or whatever. You know which one I'm talking about. Cam probably does, at least. 90s classroom aesthetic realness. Exactly. 100%. That's me. Yeah, I am very much like that color patterning of the, like, you're the art teacher that everyone loves. Thank you. It's really funny. I used to be a classroom teacher in the 1 through 6 space, like in the United States, the elementary school space. And a lot of times the school systems that I was teaching in had no, specialty rotation teachers. So it was true that in at least 2 of my classrooms, I was both the visual arts teacher and the music teacher. The visual arts teacher, I felt so bad because I'd literally be like, here, I can't do art, but we're gonna do projects together. And the music teacher, I could get by a little better. I'd bring in my guitar, I'd do my Raffi impression. I can 100% see you taking the 90s teacher dressers and fashioning them into cunty Frog and Toad style vests. Exactly. 1000%. Mark and I have a very real Frog and Toad aesthetic about us as a general rule. Frog and Toad are legendary. Listen, it's so true. Frog and Toad, definitely one of the many gay-coded couples that I was exposed to as a youngling. Frog and Toad, anybody who wants to tell me that Statler and Waldorf aren't gay, like, Are we watching the same material even? Like, you know what I mean? Y'all do remind me very specifically of Frog and Toad. We're literally scaled like we are scaled that way. Small gay, tall gay, you know? It's very true. But yes, I'm a fan of it. Speaking of small gay, tall gay, The Great Mouse Detective, I think that's the first time that like I experienced small gay, tall gay Sherlock Holmes and Watson. You know what I mean? The first but not the last. Mark and I were talking about a bunch of movies that we haven't seen in a long time. Great Mouse Detective is actually one of them. I know we reference it quite often, especially when I'm close to the end of a manuscript. You know, Cam was so delightful to get the you know, the
finish it, Flavisham.
You know. But yeah, I haven't seen it in a while. I also haven't seen The Rescuers Down Under in a really long time. And it's funny because Mark and I, you know, when we were winding down and watching some YouTube info dump material together, we were watching actually a little mini documentary about how the television show Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers started being produced. Because in case you couldn't guess, Mark and I were both huge Rescue Rangers fans as younglings. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, it was really interesting because they were talking about how when they initially pitched the pilot, they did actually pitch it as being in universe with the Rescuers because the Disney like television animation team had not been privy to the fact that Disney Animation was in fact developing